President Tinubu's nominees for service chiefs. Soldiers raid former Bayelsa State Governor Timipre Silva's residence. President Tinubu signs instrument of pardon, deletes illicit drug convicts, others. On the foreign scene, 77% of Jamaica left without power.
Here are 5 amazing fun facts I bet you never knew about Christianity.
Number 1, there are over 2.4 billion Christians worldwide.
Amazing fun fact number 2. The Bible is one of the best-selling books of all time, with more than 100 million copies sold every year.
Most Christians believe in heaven and hell.
The Bible is the most translated book in the world, with more than 3,000 languages.
Amazing fun fact number 5. Most Christians throw science out of the window without realizing that most scientists are Christians. Hello, I am Pastor Steve Akinwumi.
And I am Dr. Adeoye Oyewole.
Join us as we highlight and discuss day-to-day issues pertaining to the day-to-day living of every Christian.
Issues in Christendom shows every Sunday on Western Spring Television, channel 190, only on StarTimes.
On the news tonight, President Bola Tinubu urges newly appointed service chiefs to clear out security threats in the country. 5 House of Representatives members from Enugu State defect from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressives Congress. Judiciary staff workers in Osun State insist ongoing strike will continue until all pending promotion issues are addressed. On the foreign scene, at least 2 people killed as police fired gunshots on Tanzanians during protests after presidential election. Good evening. This is News at 7 on Western Spring Television. My name is Damilola Raphael. President Bola Tinubu has implored the newly appointed service chiefs to clear out security threats in the country. President Tinubu spoke on Thursday during the decoration ceremony of the new service chiefs at the council chambers of the State House on Thursday. Those decorated were Olufemi Oluyede, Chief of Defense Staff; Waidi Shaibu, Chief of Army Staff; Idi Abbas, Chief of Naval Staff; Kevin Aneke, Chief of Air Staff; and Emmanuel Undiendeye, Chief of Defense Intelligence. The decoration followed National Assembly's confirmation of the nominees after President Tinubu requested swift approval to enable the new military chiefs to assume duty without delay. Addressing the new service chiefs, President Tinubu said Nigerians will not accept any excuses regarding the country's security challenges. The president urged the new service chiefs to crush the new armed groups in the north, central, and northwest geopolitical zones, adding that the new threat should not grow. He assured the service chiefs of the support of his administration in the fight against insecurity. Speaking on behalf of his colleagues, Oluyede said the armed forces are committed to making the country safe for all Nigerians for socio-economic activities to flourish.
This ceremony is beyond symbolism of swearing in. It marks the beginning of our renewed effort to ensure the peace and security of all Nigerians. Say in dark times, when terrorists and armed marauders held significant portion of our land. That time is over. You are the gallant officers of the armed forces who rose to the challenge and reclaimed those occupied territories back. We must not allow this new threat to fester. We must be decisive and proactive. Let us smash the new snakes right in the head. I charge you, as head of our nation's armed forces, to carry out your duties with patriotic zeal. Nigerians expect result and not excuses. I charge you also to be innovative, preemptive, and courageous. I wish you the best. I advise you to work together as a team. We need to clean them up, clear them out. I promise to provide all support you need to get the job done. Thank you very much.
I want to assure Mr. President and all Nigerians today that we'll do our utmost best to ensure that we'll rid Nigeria of all forms of criminality and make Nigeria safer so that socio-economic endeavors can thrive. We pledge our loyalty to Mr. President, and we assure you that we'll continue to support the flourishing democracy.
The Senate has confirmed Bernard Doro as a Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria following a brief screening session that lasted less than 30 minutes. Doro, who becomes the third ministerial nominee from Plateau State, used the opportunity to outline his vision for fostering an inclusive humanitarian ecosystem in the country. He promised to create a humanitarian ecosystem that is inclusive, guided by impartiality and independence. Doro told lawmakers during his appearance that he will create synergy between security agencies to better target the individuals affected by crisis, which he notes is always a challenge. He believes technology can play a vital role in achieving this. After a few questions, senators expressed satisfaction with his credentials and capacity to serve. The lawmakers subsequently asked him to take a bow and leave. President Bola Tinubu appointed Doro as a minister last week following the resignation of Nentawe Yiwata, who is from Plateau State. Yiwata, who was the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, is now the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC. In the meantime, 5 members of the House of Representatives from Enugu have defected from the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to the All Progressives Congress, APC. The lawmakers are Obeta Chidi, Anayo Onwegbo, Dennis Agbo, Martins Oke, and Nnolim Nnaji. Daniel Asama, representing Jos North Basa Federal Constituency of Plateau State, also defected from the Labour Party to the APC. Speaker of the House, Tajuddin Abbas, read their defection notices during Thursday's plenary. The lawmakers attributed the move to the protracted and irreconcilable crisis in their parties. Governor of Enugu, Peter Mba, who recently defected to the APC, and national chairman of the ruling party, Nentawe Yiwata, were on the floor of the House to witness the defection. Here in Osun State, as political parties intensify preparations for primaries ahead of the 2026 governorship election in the state, calls are continuing for them to zone their governorship ticket to Osogbo. Speaking with journalists today, the coalition of Osogbo indigenous groups said Osogbo should be given a chance to produce the next governor. Speaking on behalf of the groups, an indigene of Osogbo, Omoshola Olabode, said Osogbo has qualified, competent, and capable sons and daughters for the position. He noticed that Osogbo had supported other towns in the state in the past and called on all indigenes and residents of Osun State to support Osogbo to produce the next governor of Osun State. On his part, a member of the coalition, Salam Atere, said indigenes of Osogbo have unanimously agreed to support and vote massively for any party that picks an Osogbo indigene as its candidate. This position was also reiterated by Barrister Rahman Okwade, who stated that Oshogbo indigents are united. Osun State will go to the polls by August 8, 2026 to elect a governor, and the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has fixed the conduct of the party's governorship primaries for between November 24 and December 15, 2025.
Therefore, it is a clear call on all indigenous and residents of the population to intensify our efforts in presenting a credible, competent, and responsible candidate that guarantee the much-needed development across the state and ensure that such candidates win 2026 governorship election in the future. Therefore, all structures, political and non-political must join together to make this happen. The coalition of the local indigenous group, comprising of all indigenous organizations, created to support the progress of the community in all and movement. Apart from the fact that Osogbo has not produced a governors in the creation of Osun State, our request for Osogbo individuals to govern the Osun State in 2026 is rooted.
Chairman of the Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria, Jusin Osun State Chapter, Comrade Idris Adeniran, has reiterated that the ongoing strike by judiciary workers in the state will continue until all pending promotion issues are addressed. Speaking to journalists today at the gates of the Osun State Judiciary Complex in Oshogbo, Comrade Adeniran revealed that the Chief Judge of the state has scheduled a meeting with the union for tomorrow. He, however, stated that the Osun State Chapter of Jusin has decided to allow the national president of Jusin to negotiate on its behalf to prevent any intimidation. While also addressing journalists, Chairman of the Nigeria Labour Congress in Osun State, Comrade Christopher Arakpasoko, said the NLC was showing solidarity with Jusin and asked the Chief Judge to address the issue promptly to restore industrial harmony within the state's judiciary. Jusin had, on September 19, embarked on a strike to compel the Judicial Service Commission to consider promotions for its members for 2024 and 2025, among other demands.
I want to assure you that without due process, Jusin will not resolve. We have done it once, that we do not follow due process. That is why this present struggle is happening. For it not to repeat itself, we must follow the due process in achieving our aims and objectives for this strike. Now, they have called us for a meeting for tomorrow. The CJ, the Honorable Chief Judge, has called Jusin for a meeting to be held tomorrow. But I cannot negotiate for my people here in Osun. There's no way I will negotiate for my people in Osun that I will not. So on that note, I have asked of Jusin to negotiate on our behalf, and he has promised to come around Osun by next week for negotiation. In fact, he has called me this morning to make solid preparation for his arrival. There's no way I could negotiate because our leaders here, our boss here, who we are working with, will definitely intimidate me.
I wouldn't know when it has become a problem, but we want to do the needful at times, the needful on time for all workers. You can see everyone in the sun, but we know with God Almighty, with the support of our people, we will achieve, we will record success. I'm only appealing to the Chief Justice of Osun State because this struggle is under her leadership, because the commission we are talking about is under her. And you will recall that last year, 2024, the state government of Osun State, under Senator Dr. Ademola Jackson approved 2024 promotion for all categories of workers in the state. As I speak, everyone has received their letters, except those in the judiciary who are judiciary members. And currently, you will discover that the Osun State also approved 2025 promotions to all categories of workers in the due for promotion, conversion, preferment, advancement, so on and so forth. But yet, those at the judiciary sector are yet to receive their letter.
Moving on, the Deputy Governor of Bayelsa State, Lawrence Jakpo, has filed a suit at the Federal High Court in Abuja against the State House of Assembly over an alleged plan to impeach him. In the originating summons, Jakpo alleged that members of the Assembly were under pressure to remove him from office because he refused to resign from the People's Democratic Party, the platform on which he and Governor Doyedire were elected. While Diri recently resigned from the PDP, Jakpo has remained in the party. Through his counsel, Reuben Egwaba, the deputy governor also claimed that some local government chairpersons were being threatened with removal for similarly refusing to defect from the PDP alongside the governor. Jakpo is seeking several interim orders, including one restraining the State Assembly from initiating or conducting any impeachment proceedings against him for remaining in the PDP. He is also asking the court to restrain the Assembly from recognizing or dealing with any member of the All Progressives Congress as the deputy governor of Bayelsa State. Justice Emeka Nwite orders the defendants to appear before the court to show cause why the interim orders sought by the plaintiff should not be granted. The case has been adjourned until November 13 for the defendants to show cause, following which the court will proceed to hear the motion on notice. Justice Benjamin Lawan Manji of the Adamawa State High Court, Adamawa State, has convicted and sentenced the managing director, Bonge Microfinance Bank, Grace Karaka, to 5 years imprisonment over alleged fraud. According to a statement by the EFCC, Karaka was prosecuted on 2-count charges bordering on criminal conspiracy and cheating to the tune of 32 million naira by the Gombe Zonal Directorate of the Commission. Upon her arraignment on November 11, 2024, the defendant pleaded not guilty to the 2-count charges, setting the stage for a full trial in the course of trial. EFCC said the prosecution counsel, Mubarak Tijani, called in witnesses and tendered several documents to prove his case, while the defense counsel called in 3 witnesses. Justice Manji, on October 17, 2025, while delivering judgment, said the prosecution had proved the case beyond a reasonable doubt and went on to convict the defendants accordingly on counts 1 and 2. The judge also sentenced Karaka to 5 years imprisonment with an option of 3 million naira each on counts 1 and 2. In addition, the court ruled that the convict should restitute the balance of 29.87 million naira to the petitioner. Elsewhere, the Kwara State Police Command says it has rescued one Haruna Ahamadu unhurt from a kidnapper's den in the Omuaro Forest, Irepodun local government area of the state. In a statement, the spokesperson for the command, SP Adetun Ejire Adeyemi, said the rescue operation followed credible intelligence that led to a joint action by police operatives and local vigilante members. According to the statement, 2 suspects, Ayisa Ibrahim and Yakubu Hassan, have been arrested in connection with the abduction, while a manhunt has been launched for other fleeing members of the gang. In Lagos State, at least 4 people, including a police officer, have died in an accident on the Kara Bridge on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. The accident, which occurred on Wednesday night, involved some trucks, including a few tankers, that collided on the bridge. It was learned that one of the deceased, said to be an occupant of one of the trucks, was burnt beyond recognition. The incident also caused a heavy gridlock on the expressway, grounding vehicular movement and leaving many commuters stranded. Eyewitnesses said one of the trucks carrying unknown items veered off the road and crashed into the brick barricade of the bridge. The impact of the crash cut off the head of the truck, causing it to plunge into the river. Confirming the accident, the Lagos State Traffic Management Authority said 8 casualties were recorded, but did not give further details. It was also gathered that a police officer, an assistant to one of the drivers, and 2 other people died, while a motorboy and 1 other person were injured in the accident. The Commissioner of Police, Olorundare Jimoh, said preliminary reports showed that the accident resulted from brake failure. Elsewhere, October 29 marks the World Stroke Day 2025, a global initiative to raise awareness about stroke and promote action against this disease. With millions affected worldwide, stroke remains a significant public health challenge, emphasizing the need for prevention, diagnosis, and care. Favor Akinrinola looked at an expert's perspective on causes and precautionary measures.
Stroke Day. Stroke has been regarded as a life-threatening issue in the public health sector globally, costing a lot of lives. In celebrating World Stroke Day on the 29th of October 2025 with the theme Every Minute Counts, highlighting the urgency of recognizing stroke symptoms and seeking immediate medical help. The theme emphasizes that quick action is critical for saving lives and reducing long-term disability, and also stressing the importance of recognizing stroke signs and acting fast to get emergency help. FAST, which is also an acronym for some of the prominent symptoms of signs of stroke, which include face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulties, as well as a call to take action. Also, acting fast can prevent irreversible brain damage and improve the chances of a full recovery. Dr. Oyedeji Oluwatoba, a medical doctor working at the Obstetrics and Gynecology Department, Uni-Osun Teaching Hospital, Osogbo, gives a breakdown of what stroke is and how it impacts the brain.
From the word stroke, some people call it transient ischemic attack. And the word ischemic just simply means reduction in blood flow. So stroke is a rapid developing or progressing brain damage, which results from vascular origin, which is from blood supply, and which causes a damage in the brain. So most of the time, whenever stroke happens, there's always a reduction in the blood supply to one part of the brain. Most time, if it's at the left part of the brain, then the right aspect of the hand, the leg, will not be working. And usually it's just a brain damage which occurs as a result of reduction in blood supply to one part of the brain. We call it cerebrum. The larger part of the brain is called cerebrum. So we have the left cerebrum and we have the right cerebrum. So if there is a reduction in blood supply in the left cerebrum, then the right part of the body will be affected. And if there is a reduction in the blood supply to the right cerebrum, the left part of the body will be affected. And it can also happen that both parts of the brain are not adequately supplied by blood. Then that's when you get the patient not being able to move both both hands and both legs. So that we call it paraparesis. That's complete stroke.
The rate at which stroke occurs is one of the most leading causes of death, because when stroke strikes, it also comes with underlying factors like high blood pressure and makes its subject rely on medications for the rest of their life because it is that chronic. So far in 2025, research showed that increased dietary fiber intake reduces the risk of stroke, particularly small vessel stroke, and lowers overall mortality rates after a stroke. The strongest protective effects were seen in people who consumed more than 18.3 grams of fiber per day. Also, research in 2025 identified that the duration of exposure to hypertension is a critical factor in stroke risk, with women showing a higher risk after 21 or more years. These findings emphasize the importance of early and sustained blood pressure management. Recently, a study of stroke survivors confirmed that higher levels of physical activity significantly decrease all-cause cardiovascular and non-cardiovascular mortality. The highest mortality risk was found in insufficiently active individuals who sat for more than 8 hours per day. Speaking on some of the causes, Dr. Oyedeji cited diabetes as a major cause of stroke occurrences, noting sedentary lifestyle and smoking as contributors.
There are various causes of stroke. And mind me, let me tell you that the rate at which stroke occurs globally is one of the most leading causes of death, because most time, when stroke happens, it does not just happen. There are always underlying factors, and which are some of the things I'll be discussing. So we have some chronic illnesses which we all know about. One of them is hypertension, which is high blood pressure, what people call high blood pressure. So if one has been having high blood pressure for a very long time, and the person has not been treating his or herself, not been regular on his medication, I'm sorry to say that, but most people that might not know, that felt they have been diagnosed of hypertension at one point or the other, and they are probably scared that they might be on medication for the rest of their life. It is that hypertension is that chronic that you have to be on medication for the rest of your life. Once you are diagnosed with hypertension, you have to be on regular checkup. So hypertension is one of the causes. Diabetes is also a major cause. When someone has a high blood sugar, take a sedentary lifestyle. People that sit, there are people that there are professions that people sit from morning in the office from 8 o'clock till 5. And they don't even stand up from the chair at all. We have people in I stay in Lagos, so I have a couple of people, like whenever I go to Lagos market, Idumota market, we have this fat women who are very obese because they sit literally from the office. They just send their errand boy and errand girls, go and sell this, go and sell. So they sit on the chair with the money, and they are just there from morning to night without standing up. They're also predisposed to having stroke later in life.
Speaking on the theme, every minute counts, Dr. Edeji noted the term the golden hour of stroke, which he called the hour at which when one has a stroke.
Golden hour at which someone who have stroke now, the golden hour to help that person for his or her brain not to be damaged completely is within 4 to 5 hours. If a person slump now and is diagnosed and brought to the hospital, within the next 4 to 5 hours, the person has to be brought to the hospital. If the person is not brought to the hospital within the first 4 to 5 hours, they resuscitate and all of that, that part of the brain might be damaged for life. So the golden hour, we call it golden hour of stroke. So the golden hour of stroke is within, some people say 4 hours, some people say 5 hours, so it's always within that range, 4 to 5 hours. And it's always amongst the older ages. Younger people also come up with stroke nowadays, but older ages usually have people that are greater than 55 years are more.
Though stroke is mostly prominent amongst adults aged 60 and above, recently it has been found that younger folks are being diagnosed with stroke. To avoid it, the medical practitioner speaks about basic precautions.
You can take a walk. If you are going somewhere and it's not too far, maybe you want to buy fuel or something, you don't need to take your car, you can just take a walk, jog. And people that are obese should try to modify their diet. And diet is also something that also help. I mean, taking fruits, taking vegetables, taking a lot of water, it also helps because another predisposing factor to stroke is what's called atherosclerosis. Atherosclerosis is just when the blood vessels is being thinning. So there's no adequate blood supply. It's like something, there is a hose, but there is something inside it stopping it from moving freely. So that's atherosclerosis. So the blood is not flowing to that aspect very well. So people that take a lot of fat, it's better to boil your egg than to fry it. I'm not saying you should not fry stuffs, but reduction in fat intake also helps.
According to World Stroke Organization, WSO, 1 in 4 adults over the age of 25 will have a stroke in their lifetime. This means over 12 million new strokes have been recorded globally each year. Today, over 100 million people worldwide currently live with the effects of a stroke. As the World Stroke Day concludes, stroke survivors and caregivers have been urged to keep up the strength and keep living healthy, knowing that each day routine is a step forward. Favor Akinriola, Western Spring Television News.
Still to come, 1 person killed following collapse of a 3-story building in the Apapa area of Lagos State. We will bring you more on this when we return.
The Korean War of 1950 to 1953 pitched North and South Korea against each other in response to intrigues by nations beyond their border with different interests from those canvassed by the two brother nations. The Korean